Good morning. Thank you for tuning in to our candidate forum. This is the Woodland School Board Candidate Forum. And before we get started, I'm your host, Cecilia Escamilla Greenwald. I'll be moderating, asking the questions of the candidates. But before we get started, I think you Woodlanders should give a big round of applause and thanks to the folks that put this together. They did a lot of hard work. It's a group called Know Your Candidates, Woodland. And we're going to go to Brian. Brian, say hello. Say
Hello,
hello,
everybody.
Brian.
Hello.
Yeah, Brian was the mastermind behind it, and so was Christy. Christy Grettenberger. Yes, you've been very helpful. And Murray, also Murray Levinson. Levison, excuse me, Levison. Hi, Murray. And is a group of people that came together and wanted to provide Woodlanders an opportunity to hear candidates for school board and then later on in the day for city council. And they wanted to give you all an opportunity to hear candidates and where they stand on issues. It really came together and they worked day and night on this. So I really want everybody to give them a round of applause for doing this as a great community service to you all. I think it's fabulous that they do this, and I wish more communities would do this. So thank you for stepping up. Now, before we get started, I'm going to introduce the candidates that are able to be with us. Some are not able to be with us today because of previously scheduled commitments. And so they're going to the committee's going to try to get the questions out to them, get answers so they can be posted on YouTube later, either it be a video or a question and answer type format. Where they have their answers written. They'll send that out to everybody. But for those that are able to join us today, before we get started, I just want to do a quick round and thank them for being here today. Jake Whitaker, thank you for joining us. Candace Richardson Fowler, good morning. Thank you for joining us. And Trista Kennedy, thank you so much for joining us today. Now, the format is such that we're going to begin by giving the candidates a minute to tell us about themselves, why they're running. And then when we get started, we're going through a series of 4 questions, and the candidates know these questions. They will answer. If we have time at the end, we will ask some questions that have been submitted by members of the public, if we have time, okay? And then in between, we're going to give the candidates a break of just, a few minutes to grab water, use the restroom, whatever. That way they can get themselves settled and we can continue, okay? But thank you all from the public. Thank you for tuning in today. It shows your commitment to knowing the issues. You could have been doing anything else today and you're choosing to tune in. So we really, really appreciate it. Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started? Let's see, Jake, we're going to give them, Brian, we're giving is it 1 minute or 2 minutes? A minute? Sorry, I can't hear you, Brian. 2 minutes, thank you. Okay, Jake, you have 2 minutes to introduce yourself and let the public know why it is that you're deciding to run for re-election.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you to everyone for putting this event together. I think it's really a great thing, especially since we haven't had the opportunity to do in-person forums through the League of Women Voters like we typically would. My name is Jake Whitaker. I have the honor of representing Area 2 as a member of the Woodland Joint Unified School District Board of Trustees. I was appointed to fill a vacated seat in February of 2019. And so this year in November 2020, my race was put up for a special election to fill the remainder 2 years of that vacated term. And I have the privilege of this time running unopposed, but I'm still happy to be here to share my thoughts and perspective on the different issues that are facing our district right now. A little bit about me is that I went to Woodland schools for my entire K-12 education. I'm a Woodland product. Went to college up in Oregon and then came back to Woodland and found a passion in serving my community that I grew up in. You know, this place is special to me as my hometown. Over the last year and 8 months or so, you know, I've really tried to be an active board member in terms of shaping the direction of our district and pursuing the reforms that I think are necessary for our district to continually improve. And some of those things include, you know, I spearheaded efforts to strengthen the district's equity policy so that we can make sure that our students with the most disadvantaged needs are at the forefront of our minds. I have pursued policies related to developing a climate action plan. I have been a strong advocate for increased mental health and social emotional learning services. And I'm looking forward to continuing that work over the next 2 years. And I'm looking forward to being joined by new colleagues when the calendar turns to December. Thank you.
You're still muted, Cecilia.
Thank you, Jake, for being here. You didn't have to be here, but we really appreciate you showing up to talk to constituents and the public. Thank you. Just to remind everyone, Brian, do you want to hold up the card? The yellow card will mean there's 30 seconds left. Is that right, Christy? 30 seconds. And then the red card is when it's stop. And so we will stop. Okay. And so next we have Candace Richardson Fowler. Thank you, Candace, for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. My name is Candace Richardson Fowler. I'm originally from Southern California. Don't mind me, I'm a hand talker. I have a career path that looks like Lombard Street. Currently, I am a special education teacher with Yolo County Office of Education. I've also been a counselor and executive director of child advocacy nonprofits, nonprofit consultant. In the span of having children, I have spent most of my time as a stay-at-home mom and volunteering with the schools. So I have been the president of Beamer PTA, currently holding the secretary title. I've represented my school with School Site Council. I have also sat on several different committees at the district level, including Ethnic Studies Committee, which was formed to help fill the resolution that came forward from the school board, stating that we needed to pair our educational requirements with that were coming down the pipeline from the state of California, requiring all high school graduates to have an ethnic studies curriculum. So I decided to get involved because there's a lot of things that I'd like to see in Woodland schools. I'd like to see more parent involvement. I'd like to see more opportunities for our kids. As a parent, as a teacher, as somebody who's incredibly involved in the community, I hold several different hats and unique perspectives that I think are missing from the school board. And I look forward to being an active participant, reaching out to not just Beamer schools, because my kids aren't going to just be Beamer students, but also to the junior highs, the high schools, and the other elementary schools as well. Thanks for your time. Still muted.
I keep doing that and that muted. Sorry about that. Next, we have Trista Kennedy. Hi, Trista. Thank you for being with us this morning. Could you please share with the public what motivated you to run?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. My name is Trista Kennedy, and I'm running for Woodland School Board representing Area 3. I'm an engaged parent and active community member. I'm the mother of 4 school-age daughters, Trinity, Taryn, Tegan, and Tessa. It's quite a mouthful. They are in 11th, 8th, 4th, and 2nd grades, and they attend Pioneer High School and Gibson Elementary. I've lived in Woodland for the past 11 years. I've worked at the Woodland Police Department for the past 14 years in several positions to include police officer, volunteer coordinator, social media coordinator, and I'm currently the executive assistant to the chief of police. During my time at Woodland PD, I've been able to create and lead several youth and community programs to include our Youth Public Safety Academy, our Citizen Police Academy, our Special Needs Alert Program, and also our Unidos program, which is created for Spanish-speaking adults. I'm bilingual in Spanish, and I'm also a member of our department's social media team. I have been the coordinator for a not-for-profit summer band camp for the past 8 years, which is Donner My Music Camp. I am also an instructor for the California Police Chiefs Association, teaching other executive assistants all throughout California. I've been a Girl Scout troop leader. I'm active in the PTA, and I'm currently on the Gibson School Site Council. I am running to be your next trustee because I want to make a positive impact on our district and community. Our schools are not just educating our children, they're cultivating our future citizens. As your school trustee, I commit to fiscal accountability and responsibility. I want to ensure that implemented programs are effective. I want to improve family to school communication and trust, and also support early literacy and equity education for all students. Thanks.
Cecilia, you're muted
Now
again.
we're going to get started on the questions. Thank you so much, Trista.